The Rangers have been pretty bad at home. Actually, they've been historically bad. In fact, no team in NHL history has ever started a season worse in their own building. Through their first 3 home games, they haven't scored a single goal. Over 180 minutes of hockey, and the light behind the opposing net hasn't flashed once, except for the end of the period. After a disappointing season last year, it feels like the misery just carried right over to this year, as Rangers fans haven't heard that goal horn in nearly 6 months. And at this point, it's starting to feel like this team might be cursed. But here's the thing, as brutal as they look on the surface, the numbers tell a different story. So let's dive into just how bad they really are, or aren't. The Rangers opened up this much-anticipated season in front of their home crowd against the Pittsburgh Penguins, which should have been an easy win to start the year considering the Penguins are the epitome of a Bugatti in the hood with Crosby in that lineup. In Mike Sullivan's first game behind the bench, New York got blanked 3-0 by the Penguins. Artur Shilovs, in just his 20th NHL start and first as a Penguin, stopped all 25 shots he faced. The Rangers looked just completely lifeless, no energy, no urgency, just bad hockey from a team that really should have controlled the entire game. It was an ugly way to start the season, to say the least, but fans, they tried to stay patient, telling themselves maybe 5 nights later, they'd finally hear that goal horn again. They went on the road to Buffalo, where they scored their first goal of the season, winning 4-0 against them, and then getting themselves a shutout win of their own. Then they followed that up with a dominant revenge win in Pittsburgh, stomping them 6-1. Then they traveled back home to play the Capitals in the second half of the back-to-back, and they were shut out by Charlie Lindgren in a 1-0 win for the Caps. But the Rangers actually played some of their best hockey of the season. They just couldn't score. They controlled the pace, they outshot the Caps in every period, and spent most of the night in the offensive zone. But Charlie Lindgren, he turned into a brick wall, stopping all 35 shots that came his way. All it took was 1 goal from Anthony Beauvillier, and that was enough to sink the Rangers. It was the best version of New York that we've seen so far. They just forgot the part where you actually score, which is what they hope to do against the Oilers in their next home game. And when you play the Oilers, the one thing you have to do is shut down 97, and they actually did that. They outshot Edmonton 30-22, didn't take a single penalty, and still somehow ended up empty-handed. It's honestly hard to wrap your head around how crazy this is. 3 straight home games, 0 goals. The Rangers have now made history in the worst way possible. The first team ever to start a season with that kind of drought at home. They've rang it off the post, they've rang it off the crossbar, and pretty much ran into prime Carey Price every single game, but nothing has gone in. This is historically bad. The Rangers now own the second longest home drought to start a season in NHL history, behind only the 1928-1929 Pittsburgh Pirates, a team that doesn't even exist anymore. The Pirates went 187 minutes and 19 seconds without a goal at home, before Hib Milks finally broke through, and that streak was only longer because they had games that went into overtime. The last time a modern team came close was the 2001 Florida Panthers, who went 155 minutes without a home goal. The Rangers have already blown past that mark, and somehow, the horn at MSG still has not gone off, and Mika doesn't know whether he should laugh or he should cry.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry, honestly.
But if there's one thing that you may have noticed about the scores from when they lost, besides the fact that the Rangers haven't scored, it's how many goals that they're giving up. And sure, the Rangers defense has been pretty solid, but a lot of that comes from the play of Igor and Quick in net. Usually when these are your goaltender stats, you would think the team is undefeated, but it's hard to win when you don't score. The goalies have been doing everything they can to give New York a chance to win every night, and they're doing a great job at that. Shesterkin is currently leading the league in goals saved above expected with 7.4, which pretty much means that through his first 4 games played, he was projected to give up just around 10 goals, and he's only given up 3. He is leading the league by at least 3 expected goals, with Demko and Saros being the runner-ups. All around, Igor has the best basic stats in the league among goalies that have played more than a game. And I know it's early in the season and this is a very small sample size, but this is still a testament to just how good he's been. He leads the league with a .972 save percentage and a .76 goals against average. And he's tied at first in shutouts with all the Rangers' Grim Reapers. I know many fans criticized him last year after a down year, saying he didn't earn the money, but he's definitely earning that $11.5 million contract right now. He is doing everything to keep this team afloat, and if he keeps playing like this, the Rangers honestly only need like 2 or 3 goals a night to win, which shouldn't be that hard when this offense is actually clicking the way it should be. But it's not just Shesty doing everything. In his one start, Jonathan Quick looked pretty sharp and reliable. It was against one of the best teams in the league from last year, and honestly, the goal he gave up was pretty close to unstoppable. He was in position, just a nasty tip by Beauvillier. Obviously, the Rangers gave no goal support and they lost 1-0, but Quick gave them every chance to win that game, saving 1.2 goals above expected. So if it's not the goaltending and the defense is playing well in front of them, it's got to be the offense. And I know that sounds pretty dumb. I mean, if you get shut out 3 times in a row, obviously it's the offense's problem. But it's not like they've actually been playing poorly. For a team that hasn't scored a single goal at home, the Rangers are actually doing a lot of things right. Almost everything, really. Through their first 3 games at MSG, they've outshot opponents 90-74, showing that the effort, structure, and puck control, it's all there. They've been disciplined too. They took just 2 penalties total in those 3 games, and they killed off both of those power plays with ease. And while the scoreboard hasn't reflected it, the underlying numbers say this team should be doing a lot better. They've generated 9.7 expected goals at home, meaning the offense should be producing. On the road, they've proven that. They've put up 10 goals in just 2 games. It's just not coming at home. The opener against Pittsburgh was the one outlier, just a flat, uninspired performance that they did not deserve to win. But after that, things shifted around. Against Washington, they completely outchanced the Capitals, especially in high-danger situations. And say what you will about money pucks deserve to win-o-meter, but they definitely outplayed the Caps. Then came Edmonton. Same story, just even more ridiculous. The Rangers dominated possession, created more than double their scoring chances, and they were given an 87% chance to win by money puck. And obviously you don't live and die by the win-o-meter, but it's pretty telling. So in reality, they probably should have won those 2 games. They just needed 1 puck to bounce their way, considering they just gave up 1 goal in each of those games if you take away the empty net. Now, for the obvious part, they can't finish. The Rangers have had 7 power play opportunities at home, and they haven't scored a single goal on any of them. It's not that the chances aren't there, they're just not converting. They're generating looks from the slot, they're getting traffic in front, but the puck either hits a post, bounces off a pad, or it just gets swallowed up. And beyond that, there's really not much to criticize. They're defending at an elite level, limiting chances and playing smart hockey in front of the 2 goaltenders who are absolutely locked in. It's not effort, it's not coaching, and it's definitely not goaltending. It's just pure bad luck and a little lack of finishing touch. And to make matters worse, every goalie they've faced has been red hot. In the opener against Pittsburgh, Artur Shilov's posted 2.5 goals saved above expected with 2 high danger saves. Then Charlie Lindgren in Washington finished with 3.34 goals saved above expected and 3 high danger saves. And most recently, Stuart Skinner against Edmonton had 3.83 goals saved above expected and 3 more high danger saves. None of these goalies are top tier guys. Shilovs is still fighting for a permanent roster spot. Lindgren is a decent starter, and Skinner, well, you guys know the deal with him. But in 3 straight games, each one of them played well above their normal level, just enough to keep the Rangers completely off the board. The good news, though, for the Rangers is that their next 2 games are on the road, which might actually mean that they score some goals. At this point, the bar is on the floor, and fans really just want to see the red light flash again in MS3. But even with how snake-bitten they've been, the injuries piling up are not going to help. Vinny Trocheck just hit LTIR, which is going to take one of their most reliable 2-way centers out of the mix. And on the back end, Will Borgen, who's quietly been pretty solid and dependable, leaving the lineup with an injury. The Rangers have called up Scott Morrow from Hartford, which could be interesting. He looked pretty decent in the rookie showcase in preseason, confident with the puck, smart in transition, so this might be his chance to get a real NHL look and give the team a bit of a spark. But still, the biggest thing for the Rangers going forward, as crazy as it sounds, is to just keep doing what they're doing. They're playing good hockey, they're generating chances, and they're not giving up much defensively. The results are going to come eventually, and they almost have to. The process is working out, it's just not showing up on the scoreboard yet. And if you want to reach for a little bit of blind optimism, the last time the Rangers were shut out 3 times in a row at home, they went on to win the Stanley Cup. Sure, that was in 1928, and it has absolutely no correlation to what's happening right now, but if history wants to repeat itself, I would certainly not be complaining.